The game has changed for professional wrestling. Tony Khan has announced today on AEW Dynamite that he has purchased Ring of Honor. What does that mean? We got details for you. Plus, on NXT 2.0, Melo continues to not miss. He is on a roll. He defeated Pete Dunne. We're going to jump into that tonight on the Debrief.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
It's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. It's time for the debrief here on Sports Key to Wrestling. I'm Jose G. Next to me is my top Chico himself, Rico el Glorioso, and a momentous, historic night in AEW as they announced the first thing at the top of the show. They have bought, or Tony Khan bought, Ring of Honor. Rico, this news surprised a lot of people. A lot of people already had a hunch of that this was going to happen, but tonight we got the confirmation. There were some swerves earlier today about the HBO Max deal or a media deal. That wasn't the news, but Ring of Honor is still a major deal, man. Big news. Before we get into it, what's up, bro? How are you?
Man, great. You know, we're on the road to WrestleMania, but we're also on the road to Revolution. That's going to be going down right in our neck of the woods in Orlando this weekend. So this, and you guys already talking in the chat about how great of a go-home show this was. And yes, and we're going to get into it in just a little bit. How are you doing, Jose?
Doing great, man. Looking forward to talk about both shows, AEW and NXT. They are both really good shows, but we'll jump into AEW right now. As you guys know, at the very top of the show, Tony Khan announced that he did purchase Ring of Honor. He made a deal. The deal was finalized, and today we got a little bit more details on the deal from Fightful Select. They just put up a little of an update, and I'll put it up here in just a moment. But basically, what they're saying is Fightful Select reported last night that a sale of Ring of Honor was coming and likely, but didn't hear until after that Tony Khan was in the running. Outside of Khan, Fightful can confirm that multiple overtures were made towards Ring of Honor since 2020 about a potential purchase. One source indicated to Fightful Select that they were told that recently another offer came and Joe Koff and Sinclair wanted to go in that direction. Chatter within wrestling really picked up on Tuesday night when the higher-ups in another wrestling company heard Ring of Honor was being sold. Many within WWE had been under the impression that Tony Khan had bought a Japanese tape library that wasn't New Japan Pro Wrestling, which didn't end up happening. Talent that is booked for April's Supercard of Honor show was not and have not been briefed as of yet, and learn about it by watching Dynamite with the rest of the world. There are a few people remaining under contract, but they retained public relation representatives and had planned date throughout the end of the year to tape television. They have not been told whether or not those will continue, if the Sinclair syndication is part of the deal or not. The report continues that before the announcement, the card of Supercard Honor was not done, and those in Ring of Honor side told Fightful Select that they weren't confident at the AEW talent would even be able to appear on the show. Obviously, that won't be an issue now. Another wrinkle also is that Impact's Deonna Purrazzo is Ring of Honor Women's Champion and has been scheduled for the show since winning the title. Jonathan Gresham and Flip Gordon were both backstage at AEW recently, and with Gresham's raising suspicion because it was in the Bridgeport, Connecticut. He has his own show, Terminus, booked the next night in Atlanta and didn't appear on Dynamite. His deal with Ring of Honor expired the week after Final Battle. A very close circle of people knew about the news before the announcement, but word had begun to make its way to Khan that it would be purchasing Ring of Honor on Tuesday night. And that is the end of Fightful Select's report. So extensive report. So kudos to Millennial Meltzer over there in Fightful Select for giving us that report on the Ring of Honor sale and some of the details. But big news, Rico.
That is huge. That's a big shift. And yeah, it's just crazy. Go from hearing, rumors out there that Ring of Honor is getting purchased by somebody. It's like easy to say, oh, whatever the price tag, WWE can easily get it, especially the history of some of the wrestlers in WWE with Ring of Honor, but this makes so much more sense. Like, this is a huge step for AEW because now not only do you have, the name Ring of Honor, you have All In's officially now part of AEW, but you have this extensive tape library. And look at how many guys are currently in AEW that honed their skills and had their early days in professional wrestling in Ring of Honor. So now you have so much content. And then coming off of the, also rumors of possibly AEW working with HBO Max and bringing a new steering, with their streaming service. Look at all the content now that AEW has. They can literally launch their own content service, like you guys are mentioning here in the chat. So this is, again, a really fun time to be a wrestling fan. And right as we're getting closer and closer to Supercard of Honor and everything that's going to be going down during WrestleMania weekend, there's so much stuff that, can be developed, that can be brought to light within this next few weeks. So that makes that weekend of WrestleMania that much more must see. So I'm very intrigued to see how the rest of this is going to play out.
Well, let's jump into tonight's Dynamite because it was a pretty interesting show. It was a good go home show for Dynamite. We still got one more on Friday night, which is going to be live here in Orlando. But tonight's show was pretty solid. We had a really fun battle royal. It was supposed to be a casino battle royal, but we didn't really get the casino part of it. It was just like a Royal Rumble battle royal, basically for tag teams. But it was a fun match. But the opener to pay homage to Ring of Honor, bro, we got first matchup in Ring of Honor, Bryan Danielson versus the Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels. And Bryan Danielson got the win. They started off the match with the handshake, ended with the handshake, and Bryan reminded everyone, listen, I'm not with Ring of Honor anymore. I am in AEW, and I feel like stomping some heads now. And that's exactly what he did. He started stomping Christopher Daniels' head. And then Moxley came out and had a little confrontation, prepping things up for Sunday. So he backed out at the last moment because, they're about to scuff up, build up that anticipation. But this was a fun opening match. I think this was cool for the real diehard Ring of Honor guys that saw these two guys go at it in their first show 17 plus years ago. And now having it under the leadership of Tony Khan and AEW. For the Ring of Honor hardcore fan, this was like you're salivating. You're like, oh my God, this is a huge moment, right?
And especially looking at where they were to where they are today, like all of these years of experience between both Bryan Danielson and Christopher Daniels. And it feels like they haven't lost a step, man. They were still able to deliver an amazing match tonight. They showed a lot of chemistry, showed a lot of knowledge about each other and some of the counters that they've been able to do for each other. But at the end of the day, when Christopher Daniels tries to go for the best moonsault ever that lands into, I guess, technically the best triangle ever, because once again, Bryan Danielson does get the win by submission, still flexing the muscles in order to finish off that match. But man, it's that AEW sandwich, but when you have that big chunk of news right before the first match and then you lead into a great match, bro, it's already getting us hype, and this is how you kick off the go-home week to your pay-per-view.
We got a lot of you guys already sounding off in the comments, and keep your comments in. We love you. Thank you for the support. Guys, to make sure you are liking and subscribing and sharing tonight's live stream in your favorite wrestling group. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, just make sure you smash that notification bell. We're well on our way to 27,000 subscribers. So thank you so much for the love and support. We really appreciate you. Sending all of you guys high vibrations and love. David Barkley over here watching us on YouTube. Ring of Honor promised one thing before the pseudo shutdown. There would be a rebrand. Looks like they delivered. Happy they're still around. Absolutely. A lot of you guys that watch our shows on the daily basis, that consume all of our content, you guys are hardcore wrestling fans, and you guys know who Ring of Honor is, and you know the history behind Ring of Honor. And a lot of the guys that you love now that were in WWE or now in AEW or still are in the companies, those guys were in Ring of Honor, and there wouldn't be none of them without Ring of Honor, right? So this is a big deal. This is a big deal. And I see already a lot of you guys are mentioning the library. They have enough content now that they can start their own streaming service. Ring of Honor already has a streaming service. So there's a lot of things that are happening right now within this space with the streaming service that I think this whole HBO thing is going to be inevitable, especially with the new deal that they announced with the soccer, with TNT and Turner. The major soccer leagues are going to be broadcasted live streaming on HBO Max. So I think it's just only a matter of time that announcement is made.
Oh yeah, just bringing more eyeballs to the product, and hey, wrestling continues to get more and more mainstream. So that'd be another big feather in the cap of AEW if they could pull off that deal with like an HBO Max or another big streaming outlet like that. Man, who knows?
So let's jump into this this fun 15 team tag team casino battle royale. Try to say that 5 times real fast, man, because I almost messed up there. We got a cool return. We got Darius Martin coming back from Top Flight, so they're back. They had a really cool showing. They were the first ones in the battle royal. They lasted quite a while. But the final 3 came down to FTR, Top Flight, and the Young Bucks. And the Young Bucks get the win. So they're going to be in there with their compadres, Red Dragon, and the Jurassic Express. So this should be an interesting triple threat match come Sunday.
Yeah, I know they try to make it interesting and, hey, unexpected. Who could win these 2 tag team battle royals? But the second that they mentioned it in one of the Cutler Cam promos with the Paragon and Young Bucks, it was their battle royals to lose. But we're gonna get this great matchup at Revolution. These are 3 of some of the best tag teams. So we finally they just got here, and already Fish and O'Reilly have a shot at those AEW tag team championships. They're probably going to offset themselves with the Young Bucks and their history. Jurassic Express is probably going to get away with the win, but they should deliver. Like, this is going to be another good platform, especially for a guy like Jungle Boy to step up and hold your own against now Fish and O'Reilly along with the Young Bucks in this tag team match. So it's going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, man. I think it'll be fun on Sunday. I think this is going to be a cool dynamic. It almost makes me think that Jurassic Express is going to retain just because, you have too many negatives on here. So you have to have this one positive. We'll see. It'll be interesting. And guys, stay tuned because we are going to have a predictions later on in this week with SP3. So make sure you guys tune in for that and make sure your notifications are set to see first so you don't miss that. Jumping on, we did have the in-ring promo, another really good promo. This one was better than last week's, right? Because, we had that heartfelt sentiment that, MJF gave all of us, because of the bullying and because he was Jewish and all that stuff. And then CM Punk came out. He's like, is that real? So I was very vocal about that last week on how that part really turned me off. Today we had a little continuation of that. Well, that's one cool thing. They really have been, especially with this particular story, they've been able to kind of pick up where they left off, and you're still engaged with it. You know what's going on. So he addresses the elephant in the room, talks about last week's promo, about MJF's vulnerability, calls MJF out. He's like, listen, I want you to, bring your character. I want you to bring the Max from last week, and, let's have a conversation. And then Max, hugs him, and then he hugs back, and they have this moment just for MJF to swiftly kick him in the balls. He goes down, and one thing that MJF said was, the devil does a good job to convince you that he doesn't exist. Well, you know what? I am the devil in the flesh, and something like that. And on Sunday, you're going to know, the usual, right? But this was really cool because it's like, you knew it. Like last week, I said that it was like, it sounded genuine, but it's MJF. So you got to, keep him further. So cool story. Got him busted open with the Dynamite ring. He busted him open, put blood all over his shirt. So what'd you think for this and the hype up for this dog collar match?
It's just, again, it's the next level of the story. They continue to tell a really great story with the back and forth. Yeah, we didn't get a huge promo class like we got all night, like we got last week.
Last week, yeah.
But there's just, again, it just continues to show. And love him or hate him, MJF continues to do a great job of being arguably one of the best promo workers that's in the industry right now. And having a good foil, and CM Punk, which, CM Punk really just talked about how, he had to look in the mirror and ask himself, is he the good guy? because considering what happened last week with MJF really endeared himself to a lot of the fans, and it looked like he was the one that was more babyface than CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
And then just kind of self-reflecting on his own past and how basically he was just like MJF, and he talking about how hurt people. And that's why MJF is the way that he is. So in order to kind of make up for, the sins of the past, he tries to be a better person in the future, even extending his hand out to MJF, which led to the big hug moment. I was like, okay, this is getting a little sus. And then, of course, as soon as he steps away, after they embrace, the low blow, and then hanging CM Punk, a bloody CM Punk, with that dog collars, you just know this is going to be a very, very bloody match on Sunday. And I'm looking forward to see the story that they're going to tell with this one.
I love this comment here. This week, CM stands for Crimson Mask.
Basically, yeah.
All right, guys, let's move on over here to the next matchup. We had a women's matchup here. Tag team, AEW Women's Champion Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter versus Thunder Rosa and Mercedes Martinez, with Thunder Rosa pinning the AEW Women's Champion. Mercedes Martinez taking care of business outside, making sure her girl gets that win. I did not expect this at all. I expected more shenanigans from DMD, so that just tells me Thunder Rosa is probably not going to win on Sunday.
Yeah, I think this was just to set up that math and just make Thunder look strong heading into the AEW Women's Championship match. But yeah, I don't see this. I don't see this feud ending just yet either, though, considering how deep of history they have so far in the women's division. Don't be surprised if they run this back. But I'm looking forward to a good matchup between these two because we know what they can deliver. We saw in the Lights Out Unsanctioned match. So hopefully they can repeat the same thing in their title match this Sunday.
A lot of you guys are already saying that, I believe Rosa is going to win that title. Safe to say that Hayter will turn face. I thought Mercedes was going to turn on Rosa.
Right.
Yeah, you almost can't be certain with Mercedes Martinez. You're absolutely right about that. We did have a fun matchup here, which I thought was going to last a lot longer, dude. I thought this Wardlow match versus Cesar Bononi, because I'm looking at Cesar Bononi, I'm like, God damn, this dude! Like,
how much taller he looked than Wardlow?
Like, he got big. Did he get bigger since his time in AEW? Like, what the hell? Like, he looked like he just evolved. He went into Super Saiyan Cesar Bononi too, right? So. I think that this match should have not ended the way it did because, wow, how are you going to just do all these power bombs of Symphony on Cesar Bononi and just get away with it? Because you can, I get it, but wow, this was no future for Bononi at all. No future for Bononi.
The night for the Wingmen. They got completely decimated between the 15 tag team battle royal and then Cesar Bononi, arguably the biggest, baddest guy in the Wingmen, and he just gets power bombed like nothing to Wardlow. But
I know, and that was the other thing. He was just lifting him up effortlessly. It was insane how powerful Wardlow is and how cooperating Bononi is as well. But still, and then what I even love more about this, right? We're getting that slow baby face turn for Wardlow. Sean Spears went to go to get that cheap shot, chair shot on Bononi. Wardlow stopped him. He's like, okay. Then backstage, while Alex Marvez is interviewing them, right? MJF was like, oh, you know what? If by any chance, if you happen to win the Face of the Revolution ladder match and you win the TNT title, I'll let you keep it. No biggie, whatever.
If you can win the ladder match.
If you can win it, he's like, yeah, because I'm always, making sure you win your matches. Slaps the taste out of Wardlow's mouth, gets in his face. Oh, man. That turn is going to make, it's going to blow up. People are going to lose their mind when that turn happens because it's like you can taste it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. They just keep doing that slow burn with Wardlow, and it's really keeping me in, man. It's really keeping me in.
Yeah, we've been how long have we been talking about it? Like just a little bits and pieces. Just keep feeding it. So it's coming soon. It's coming, and it's gonna be huge when it happens. And here we go. We're getting closer and closer to the payoff. So now the question is, where does it happen? Does it happen this Sunday? do they both win? Do they both cost each other the matches? Like, this is AEW. It's not 100% predictable, and where they're going to pull the trigger on these storylines when you have so many other storylines going on. So, yeah, do we see MJF and Wardlow implode this Sunday, and both of them costing each other their opportunities? Because more likely, like we talked about, CM Punk and MJF winner should be the next person to get the AEW Championship shot. But we'll see how this plays out. Could Pinnacle have all the titles at some point, or are we finally going to see the implosion of Wardlow and MJF? So this, again, it's making more of these matches this between this week and last week, just getting us more invested in pretty much all the matches that they have going into the card. And that's the idea of these go-home shows and these builds.
Exactly.
It's to hype up this pay-per-view, because so far, every single match on this card, they've been telling a great story. They've been getting us hooked in, and hopefully they can deliver it on Sunday.
What's interesting about this, too, is that the fans are really starting to get behind Wardlow. Like, before, people were just not really interested in him. But now that he's kind of found his niche with his whole Powerbomb Symphony, the fans go, they go counting with him. And I think that, that's what kind of makes it cool. He starts doing the thing kind of like Keith Lee, right? And the fans get along. And the fact that Sean Spears last week was like, oh, it'll never get over. And then this week there was like a massive response to it. My question is, how long can that response last? You can only be a one-trick pony for so long. So I love that he's getting over with the fans, but I'm just saying, I'm being cautiously optimistic.
I mean, it worked for, how many? 143 matches for Goldberg?
Yeah.
That camera?
You're right. When you're right, you're right. We did have a pretty cool main event here. We had a trios match, AEW champion Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order's John Silver and Alex Reynolds going up against Red Dragon, or in how we like to call him, the Paragon of Pro Wrestling, Adam Cole and Red Dragon, with Red Dragon getting the win here over the Dark Order and Hangman Adam Page. But it was the end, man, where they tied him up on the ropes and just beat the living crap out of Adam Page, kind of selling that real nasty heel that Adam Cole can be, along with Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. I think this is going to be a really good match on Sunday. And what I've noticed with Hangman, like, for example, like with this particular story, Adam Cole's really been in the picture, like 3 or 4 weeks now, right? He hasn't been months behind Adam Page. And what they've been able to do in the last 3 weeks is almost very WWE-ish, right? Because the way that they tell the story is like, okay, they introduced him, he wants to challenge for the title, let's accelerate it, boom, 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 boom. But it didn't feel accelerated. I know it's only been like 3 or 4 weeks worth of storytelling between Adam Page and Adam Cole, but it doesn't feel like that. Does that make sense, Rico?
Yeah, I think they're really trying to strike while the iron's hot, especially, having brought Adam Cole and then being able to touch on their history together. And even much more so because the whole thing that they were talking about is how they were roommates together on Ring of Honor when they were doing the shows there. So, it all kind of ties in full circle, poetically. So they're trying to, again, just accelerate this a little bit, because considering what we saw with, the match against Lance Archer, and then we've been talking about it for a while now, where it feels like this might not be the best of AEW title runs. So at least with this one, you're putting 2 great talents together. And even though you basically just set this up in 3 weeks, these are 2 guys that can put on a great match. And we just saw it in this trios match, and especially with the storytelling afterwards, where, again, like you said, very WWE, but that's kind of what it's alluding to when Adam Cole picking up the AEW championship, just putting on the shoulder of Hangman Adam Page, just keep this warm for me, because I'm going to go ahead and collect it on Sunday.
And it's a story, right? They're storytellers. So I think Adam Cole does that, really, really well. He's a maestro at it. So I think this is going to be a really good match, a cool match. You want to give your early prediction on this one ahead of Sunday?
Oh, Hangman retains. As much as I wanted to be Adam Cole, there can only be one true Adam, and I think it's going to be the one that does the cowboy-ish.
Yeah, I think Cole's probably going to take it. I don't like Page as champion. I think he's way better in the chase. Yeah. And this reign hasn't been all that great for me. And That's just my opinion. I've seen some of you guys agree with me, but I would like to see Adam. It'll be funny. I would just love to see Adam Cole just get over like, wow. So you got
Just imagine Undisputed
then,
Era being Undisputed Gold once again, but just having AEW if Red Dragon and
ridiculous,
Adam Cole
bro.
can win.
The true Grand Slams, right? Because they got the Ring of Honor, they had the AEW, and then the NXTs.
Man.
Unbelievable. Well, guys, go ahead and sound off in the comments. Let us know how you scored tonight's AEW Dynamite. Massive news. Great go-home show. Awesome matches. A lot of stuff that we're closing on the storylines here ahead of Sunday. I thought this was a really solid show. I'm going to give this a 9. It was really, really good. The announcement is definitely a game changer with the purchase of Ring of Honor. The battle, always a fan of a battle royal. Doesn't matter what promotion is doing it. I will always pay attention to the battle royal. Love that tag team battle royal. I thought it was fun. The return of Darius Martin was awesome. That main event was really cool too. So yeah, it was a solid 9 for me tonight, bro.
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm gonna go ahead and round up to a 9. The only thing I kind of took away from it is we have a specific expectation of a casino battle royal. And that's always been the 4 suits. You bring in a certain number of teams. And then, of course, you have a Joker. So it feels like when you say that, and that's what we've always gotten, and this one's different, which is fine. You can still do a play on it. Like I had mentioned in our group text, like instead of having it suits, you can have it be one of the numbers of cards. Like you already have 2 teams in the ring. That's 2. And then the team could be 3, 4, so on and so forth until you get to the ace and to the Joker. You would have 15 teams. But, it's done differently this time, and it looks like the only TBD we actually got from this battle royal was Top Flight, because like you said, Darius has been gone for almost an entire year, but him and his brother have been reunited, and they made it to the last 3 with Darius being the last one to go toe-to-toe against Matt Jackson. So they have some really high hopes for both of these guys. We've seen what Dante can do, so I'm looking forward to see what Darius can do. Not to mention, we did get a little bit more glimpse of Ty Conti going up against Jade Cargill for that TBS championship. So they did nice on touching on that. So overall, I think it was a great show. I loved also Ricky Starks and Keith Lee. Like, I just want to see, obviously, Powerhouse Hobbs versus Keith Lee, but just the way he keeps just keeps annoying Keith Lee, doing his greetings and salutations. And, of course, telling him, like, hey, this is FTW country, and then Powerhouse Hobbs, and I'm the president. And just that the anticipation of the face-off between Powerhouse Hobbs and Keith Lee.
Big meaty men slapping meat.
Imagine the Wardlow and Keith Lee face-off when they're both just trying to get the crowd behind them conducting the symphony. I thought this was great. So, yeah, I'm going to give it a nice solid 9 when you round up a little bit. But, again, no Miro. Hopefully we'll get him at some point.
No Miro. Yeah, we got to get him at some point. Hopefully he comes back soon. I saw some of you guys. We had, all right, so Valsaya Tawari's watching here on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in, bros. We love you. Thank you for support. He said, how's the announcement a game changer? Sorry, not able to understand. Well, Valsaya, I think that the reason that is such a game changer because you have these big names that are probably not very well known to the casual fan that are going to be starting to have some TV time on AEW. Not only that, but they also have access to their library, and Ring of Honor already has a streaming service. So this will probably facilitate AEW to put a lot of their content, maybe previous pay-per-views on that streaming library. Again, this is all very fluent information that's coming in. We just got the announcement and some backstage details from Fightful Select at the top of the show. But it just, continue following the channel. We're going to be providing more information as it comes out as far as when it comes to the streaming stuff. We did have another question here about what happened to HBO Max. I think that was James Espanto Fernando Harbroski that always tunes in. We had a report earlier today from Andrew Zarian from the Matman podcast that said that AEW expect to have some type of a media deal down the line with Warner, which they already have with TNT and TBS. And they are expected to probably do something with HBO Max. We also reported earlier in the day that that Warner Media, Turner Sports, and TNT and TBS came to an agreement to have their Major League Soccer on the platform as well. So that means HBO Max will be broadcasting live sports, which will be great because that's going to give a platform for, guess what? AEW, which is already part of the Warner Media family. So we're going to keep our eyes out on all of those stories. But as we chime in, guys, it is award season. Make sure you guys are getting your votes in at the Sports Kita Awards. We have a ton of wrestlers, legends, Hall of Famers chiming in on who should be the winners of this year's categories. We have wrestling personalities like Renee Paquette, Eric Bischoff, DDP, Dutch Mantel. We got Booker T, bro. We got the five-time, two-time Hall of Famer. Yes, that Booker T. He is sounding off on his pick. So make sure you guys get your voices heard at sportskita.com/wrestling-awards. Again, sportskita.com/wrestling-awards. So that's our plug-in for the awards, Rico. Let's jump into NXT 2.0. Rico, did you know that we're going to have a special pay-per-view next Tuesday called NXT Roadblock? Did you know that was happening?
I didn't until last night, until watching NXT 2.0. Surprise! We are on the road to WrestleMania, and there's always got to be a stop or two. This time we're getting a roadblock over here on the Rainbow brand. So, yeah,
the multicolored brand.
Yeah, the color black, brand that we got going on here. But of course, we do get to see a lot more integration now of the main roster talent with NXT 2.0. And we saw it in the first match of the evening where we had Tomasso Ciampa, the former NXT champion, teaming up with the current NXT champion in Bron Breakker, going up against the Dirty Dogs, which I thought it was great to have Robert Roode. It wasn't Bobby Roode, unfortunately, but it was Robert Roode kind of allude to the glorious entrance. It wasn't in all of its glory, unfortunately, but it was nice to see, Robert Roode back in NXT. And right here, you have 3 NXT champions in one match. The one person that has not had it is getting a shot at it in Dolph Ziggler, who was able to just weasel his way into a triple threat match against Bron Breakker, playing off of Bron's passion and just his own confidence, and he can, just beat anybody that comes through NXT 2.0. But I thought this was, again, a great way to show a lot of good chemistry between Tommaso Ciampa and Bron Breakker. They had some nice tag team moves. I did like they did the simultaneous, giving yourself a pat on the shoulder, which of course NXT 2.0 team did get the win on this one. So this would be a fun match on next week.
Just like Steven Chambers is saying, I love that we got to see the glorious entrance again. I missed that so much. Just the fact that the spotlight gets on him and he's just slowly rotating and the crowd sings along. Oh man, what have you done to our boy? What have you done to our boy? Kevin Kellum, my co-host on the Top Story every day, he has a really extensive answer about the Ring of Honor question. AEW buying Ring of Honor is a game changer as it gives AEW hundreds of hours of content with talent they have been featuring. AEW now has some of the best matches that many younger fans or casual fans have not seen. All of the major players in the last 10 to 15 years have all come from Ring of Honor, and now AEW has that vault of content to work with, just like we were saying. So that's why it's a game changer. Yeah, man. So talking again about Tommaso Ciampa, Bron Breakker, and this Dirty Dogs matchup, I found it really funny how he was completely dressed up with the black and gold on Monday night, and then he's in the multicolored singlet in the color splash singlet, just like Bron Breakker. They even did the Steiner Brothers finisher in the mid match, paying homage to them. So this is a fun match to see, Ciampa and Breakker. But next week at Roadblock, looks like we're gonna get a triple threat match for the NXT title: Ziggler, Breakker, Tommaso Ciampa, with Breakker retaining.
Yeah, Tommaso might fight to survive, but yeah, no, this is Bron Breakker's title to maintain.
Yeah. We also had a pretty cool promo here between, let me talk to you, L.A. Knight and Grayson Waller, and they challenged them to a last man standing match. Now, this feud's been going back all the way back to October. Who says WWE doesn't have long-term storytelling? This right here. It's been going on since October. This is before Halloween Havoc, when Grayson Waller weaseled his way in to be the host of Halloween Havoc. That beef has not stopped. Then he ran over him and stole his car. Then he got him arrested, put a restraining order on him. Then turned out the restraining order was just complete bullshit. And now they're having a last man standing match. Oh, and he hired a bodyguard in the process. So there's a lot going on there. I think this is awesome. LA Knight is just always great on the mic, bro.
It is, man. It's just so fun. As soon as he's on TV, like, all right, this is gonna be fun to watch. Like, it doesn't matter if it's him backstage, yelling at people, or if it's him calling out Grayson Waller and hopefully putting an end to this whole feud and going on to better things. Because looks like the Grayson Waller effect might be coming to an end, at least when it comes to LA Knight. So we'll see who is the last man standing next week.
We shall see. We did have the quarterfinals of the Dusty Cup. We had Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai going up against my pick to win the whole damn thing, Indy Hartwell and Persia Parada. And as you know, that's not going to happen because Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai were able to exist with each other and get a win. And in the other matchup with Raquel Gonzalez and Cora Jade, they also won, so they're both advancing. So it's funny how two previous Dusty Women's Cup winners are going to be facing each other and this in the next round. So this is a cool story to see place next week at NXT Roadblock. So we'll see what happens there. We did have a matchup with Amari Miller and Lash Legend. There was something that happened online. I don't know exactly what spot it was. I tried to rewatch to see what happened, but apparently Amari Miller had a concussion last night and she had to be stretchered out from the CWC here in Orlando. And she posted on Twitter that she was okay. She's doing well. And a lot of people are blaming Lash Legend. I don't know. I rewatched the match and I couldn't really see the spot where it was. I don't know. Did you see where it happened, or do you think Lash Legend is guilty of this? I mean, accidents happen. It's a wrestling match.
Yeah, from what I've been hearing, it was a spot that was kind of like Keith Lee's, Big Bang catastrophe, where like the turning and like landing. Supposedly. Mm-hmm. That might have been the moment where she hit her head as Lash Legend was landing on top of her. But they were able to, finish the match. And of course, like you said, Amari Miller was stretched out. So, it's hopefully this is not going to be a trend, because the last thing we want anybody to start speculating, we have, Lash Jax or anything like that, or Nia Legend or anything like that. She's still learning. That's why she's been she was on 205 Live. Now it's NXT Level Up. Still getting better and more in ring work, but they have high hopes for her because they're putting her up against one of the fastest rising stars, even though she was just there for 1 week on NXT, in Nikita Lyons. So we're going to be getting Nikita Lyons appearing on Lash Legend's show. More than likely going to lead to a match between both of them. So we'll see if this continues to be a habit, or hopefully this is just a one-off and,
I certainly hope that it's a one-off, because she looks promising. She looks like she could do some good stuff in there, but if she's not going to be safe, man, and if she can't get the hang of it, man, she should not be there. Joseph Austin, man, I hope Lash Legend doesn't hurt Yam Bigelow next week. Talking about Nikita Lyons, Nikita's cakes. Yeah, Booty Mania. you guys are wild. Stop it. You guys are wild. Respect that woman.
But speaking of
yes, go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of Booty Mania, we do got Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen still trying to figure out their scenario, and you've got to be watching your words especially when Elektra Lopez is around, and you gotta watch your phrasing there, man, because I guess when it comes to these guys, the way they refer to women and how they refer to trucks doesn't always seem to come off, in the right way, but. Hey, you had your pick got eliminated. I'm still behind Team Casey, man. They still have a shot, and I think it's going to come down to Casey versus Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez. And I think Team Ninja's got the shot. The actual only team left that's an actual team.
Yeah, you're probably right. We did get a matchup here with Solo Sikoa going up against Gunter. This was a hard-hitting affair. Sikoa had the upper hand most of the match, but Gunter at the end was able to pull out that big ass powerbomb and get that win. But this, no shame on Solo for losing to Gunter. So now his undefeated streak is over, and It's a shame, but this ain't the end for Solo, bro. This ain't a squash. You ain't burying him. There's no shame of losing to Walter. I mean, Gunter. Gunta.
Did Zion Quinn get injured? Or has he just not been on TV?
I don't know. We haven't seen him on
Let's thought about that.
Where in the world is Zion Quinn? We did have a matchup, Draco Anthony versus Harlan. Draco, as much as aggressive as he tried to get, it was enough. It was not enough for Harlan. Harlan was able to get the win there. Then we had Andre Chase going up against Von Wagner. I know you guys, a lot of you guys do. Bro,
I'm behind Chase U, bro. I'm so behind Chase U.
I love Chase U. I love Chase. Chase U is hilarious, bro. I think they're great. They're a great crowd pleaser. They're fun. But, bro, just remember, it's Von Wagner's world, and we're just living in it. Yeah, it's the truth, bro.
Plus, you can always save 15% on your car insurance by switching over to Robert Stone brand. So,
I'm dead. Oh man, bendito, pobre Geico caveman, unbelievable. We did have a great main event though. We got Carmelo Hayes, because Melo doesn't miss, going up against Pete Dunne for the NXT North American Championship. And Carmelo Hayes put on a hell of... I couldn't keep up. They were just going so fast. I felt like I was watching Street Fighter Turbo, bro. It was... what the hell's going on? It was so good. It was hard-hitting. Bro, but Melo don't miss, man. Melo's on the... Bro, this has to be the best North American champion I've seen since this title's inception.
Wow, even more than Johnny North America and Adam Cole, baby, the inaugural champ.
Better than Adam Cole, better than Ricochet, better than Velveteen Dream, better. Bro, Keith Lee barely held that title.
He just won that one other title, knows it.
He just won it and he just gave it up. Bro, Carmelo Hayes has been putting that work and making that title more prestigious than the actual NXT title. The NXT title hasn't been defended on NXT TV since New Year's Evil.
Yeah, like when he says he's the A champ, when he keeps on putting banger and banger of a match like this, he's absolutely right. Like he has made that title the A title of NXT 2.0, and he just continues to elevate himself. Like, still remember when we first saw him, they had such high hopes. They put him against, an Adam Cole. They put him against, I think Johnny Gargano. Like Kushida. They put him against some really strong talent. And from there to the breakout tournament to where he is now, he's right. He doesn't miss. He delivers in the ring every single time. And now he's going to be defending his NXT North American Championship next week at NXT Roadblock in a ladder match. So now you just add that to the mix too. Like, who knows what insane thing he's going to do. He's probably going to do a leg drop from the top of a ladder onto somebody, just because he don't miss. So, man, this is going to be amazing. It's going to be it's going to be a good card. They've been doing some good work. We'll see if Dolph can have his thing in there. So we'll see.
Should be fun. It should be a fun show. Andy Wills in here watching us on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, broski. We appreciate you and we love you. Saying, Jose G, is the WWE belt in the background? Did you buy it when you went to watch the show? Actually, no. That belt, my brother gave that to me a few years ago for a birthday present. So it has sentimental value. And no, it is not on the line, Andy.
You can't defend it when you go to live events. It's not.
It never leaves the house. It holds sentimental value. So guys, how do you guys sound off in the comments? How do you score tonight's this week's NXT 2.0? Again, I think because you can't really compare both shows, right? Because it's just
you have to look at its own back, and we can't keep doing that.
Yeah, you can't compare both shows, right? But being that we just found out that there's like this pay-per-view like show next week, I'm gonna give this like a 7. I think 7 is fair. We had some fun matches. The opening match was fun. The last match was fun. Then we got some really cool stuff with the Dusty Cup in between. That was, really cool filler. And then we got that promo with LA Knight and Grayson Waller, which is always fun. And then the fun backstage segment. So nothing just out of the out of the ordinary. I think this is kind of like a typical NXT. It didn't feel like it was a go home for anything, especially since we didn't know there was a pay-per-view like show next week. So I think they did what I think they did the best with what they had.
And just in all fairness, and trying to keep it in its own little vacuum and not compare it to what we saw last night, and even though, or tonight, I should say, it's more recency bias. Just taking a step back and looking at NXT 2.0 in its own right, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. Just because I thought they did, again, great main event with Carmelo Hayes versus Pete Dunne. I thought we saw some good stuff with Tomasso Ciampa and Bron Breakker going up against the Dirty Dogs. I'm a huge fan of Bobby Roode, not so much of Robert Roode now, but having the glorious entrance, that popped me as soon as that started. And we, surprisingly enough, even though I kind of written them off, Yulisa Leon and Valentina Feroz had a pretty solid match against Raquel Gonzalez and Cora Jade. They did some pretty cool tandem tag team moves that I wasn't expecting out of them. So I think they're doing a nice job of setting up these storylines, like you said, between Dakota Kai and Wendy Chu, going to be facing off against Raquel Gonzalez and Cora Jade. So that's going to be telling a nice story. So I like the little pieces they start putting in place. And we had I think a nice little video promo too on Tony D'Angelo, trying to get more in depth into his character too. So yes, it's not even though it is the go home show, it's a Roadblock, even though we just found out about it. So it's kind of hard to go home. You didn't even know you had a home to go to. But I thought overall it was a decent show for NXT 2.0. So hopefully they can deliver on these specialized shows, which they usually do a great job of. So, let's have a little faith in the talent in NXT 2.0 to deliver next week.
A lot of you guys agreeing with us, 7.5, 6.5. So it looks like the sentiment is pretty much the same across the board here with you guys. So yeah, man. So it's going to be a fun weekend. WWE is in Madison Square Garden on Saturday. So that's not going to be televised, but I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot of stuff on social media, especially with Bobby Lashley being injured and not being able to go up against Brock Lesnar to go for the WWE title. We'll see who he's going to face for that WWE title. So it'll certainly be interesting what happens this Saturday at Madison Square Garden. And on Sunday, we are going to have Revolution. We're going to have our post show. We're going to be talking about the results of Revolution. So it should be a good weekend. And I'm just looking forward to it. So guys, as always, want to thank you so much for hanging out with us here on the Debrief on Sportskeeda Wrestling. We love you. Thank you so much for the support. Continue showing us that support by hitting that like button, that heart emoji. Engage with the show. The more you engage with the show, that means a lot more people get to watch the show, okay? So we can't do it without your support, so make sure you are showing us that love. Also, make sure you are hitting the like and subscribe button on our YouTube and smashing that notification bell so you never miss whenever we drop brand new stuff. We got tons of brand new content ahead of the Sportskeeda Awards. You still got one more week to vote, so make sure you head on over to the polls right now at sportskeeda.com/wrestling-awards to cast your vote right now for Best Male Wrestler of the Year, Best Female Wrestler of the Year, Best Feud of the Year, Best Match of the Year. You guys have the power to pick over 30,000 votes right now. So make sure you go over here to sportskeeda.com/wrestling-awards to cast your vote. Thank you so much for checking out the show. We love you. We'll see you guys next week. And remember, when you're watching wrestling, you have to do the most important thing, guys, which is what, Rico?
Enjoy it. Enjoy wrestling.
Yeah. Have a good night.